Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. And peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and in this video, I'll be profiling an article from CNN.com titled, China, US, UK, France, and Russia pledge to avoid nuclear war. And this is all futile because nuclear conflict, as well as World War III, is all a part of biblical prophecy. This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe or destruction is past, speaking of World War I. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter, World War II, which is past, and World War III, which is yet to come, but is coming quickly, and it will be nuclear. This is 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and the elements shall melt with fervent heat. The earth also and the works that are therein shall be burned up. And what do you think is going to melt the elements with fervent heat and burn up the works in the earth? It's not fireworks. It's nuclear-tipped ICBMs, which are going to be shot to the ends of the earth during World War III. And actually, Russia is going to be the main nation that's going to lead not only its allies, such as China, Iran, and North Korea, but also the allies of the United States of America, such as the UK, France, and these other NATO nations, which are going to turn against her at some point during World War III to ally themselves with Russia to altogether shoot 200 million nuclear missiles onto the United States of America, which is biblically known as Babylon the Great. And that's going to turn it into the biblical lake of fire from sea to shining sea, and then a desolate, uninhabitable wasteland afterwards. But now let's get into a little bit of this article and show the futility of these heathen nations trying to avert nuclear conflict. 5 of the world's largest nuclear powers pledged on Monday to work together toward a world without nuclear weapons in a rare statement of unity amid rising East-West tensions. A nuclear war cannot be won and must never be fought, said the joint statement, which was issued simultaneously by the United States of America, Russia, China, the United Kingdom, and France. As nuclear use would have far-reaching consequences, we also affirm that nuclear weapons, for as long as they continue to exist, should serve defensive purposes, deter aggression, and prevent war. And these nuclear missiles were created for the exact opposite, to be used during war, World War III. The statement also stressed the importance of preventing conflict between nuclear weapon states from escalating, describing it as a foremost responsibility. But as we read in Revelation chapter 9, verse 12, one woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter. In 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10, the elements shall melt with fervent heat, and the works in the earth shall be burned up. Nuclear conflict is inevitable, and nothing will happen to stop those prophecies from coming to their fulfillment. These nuclear missiles are going to be used to usher in the kingdom of heaven, ruled by the true children of Israel, who are the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, and bring about the end of this current rulership of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And it says as much back in 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 10. But the day of the Lord will come as a thief in the night, in the which the heavens shall pass away with a great noise, and these heathens, chiefly these Edomites, are living in their heaven right now, their rulership, because in the scriptures, heaven and hell can describe a condition. When you're in your heavens, you're in rulership, and when you're in your hell, you're in slavery. and in a bad situation like the children of Israel are in right now. But when those nuclear missiles fly, that's going to usher in a new heaven and a new earth. The kingdom of heaven, ruled by the children of Israel, and you heathen nations, mainly you Edomites, are going to be in your hell in the kingdom of heaven. 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery building up our kingdom. But the only difference is this: after that 1,000 years, these other heathen nations are going to be allowed to go back to their lands, though they're going to be under our laws, statutes, and commandments. And if they get out of line, they're going to be punished. As for you Edomites, when that 1,000 years is up, every Edomite man, woman, and child is going to be gathered up and permanently culled from this planet with fire. The nation of Esau, Edom, will no longer exist. Let's get back to this article. The statement comes as tensions between the world powers have risen to heights rarely seen in recent decades. In Europe, Russia is massing troops along its border with Ukraine, raising alarms in Washington, London, and Paris. And in Asia, increased Chinese military activity around the self-governed island of Taiwan has spiked tensions between Beijing and Washington and its Pacific allies. The statement released by the five powers, also known as the P5, as permanent members of the United Nations Security Council, called on all states to create a security environment more conducive to progress on disarmament, with the ultimate goal of a world without nuclear weapons with undiminished security for all. The five pledged to adhere to the 1970 Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, which obligates them to pursue negotiations in good faith on effective measures relating to cessation of the nuclear arms race at an early date, and 2, nuclear disarmament. That's it with this article. You get the point. But let's see what the prophecies have to say about nuclear non-proliferation and trying to avert a nuclear conflict. This is Joel chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain, which is exactly what the true men of the Lord, the prophets of the Most High, chiefly through GMS or Great Millstone, are doing by blowing that trumpet, going out onto the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, telling the elect of the nation of Israel what they need to do to stay in the good graces of their power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, so that they can hope to escape this coming nuclear destruction, and also telling 2/3 of the nation of Israel who are hard-headed and refuse to return under their power, as well as you heathen nations, of the judgment to come by nuclear fire for all the wickedness you've been committing on this planet. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand, and it's very nigh at hand. All the end times prophecies before the kingdom of heaven being ushered in and Yahweh Shai making his second coming are either in the process of taking place or taking place as we speak. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains, a great people and a strong, there had not been ever the like, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. And that great people and a strong is speaking of those nuclear weapons. And where it says there hath not been ever the like, that's talking about how these nuclear weapons came about very recently, beginning with those 2 atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during World War II, that second woe back in 1945. And where it says, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. When these heathen nations shoot their nuclear missiles, every single one is going to be used. Not a single one is going to be left in a silo or any other launch platform. And after the dust settles, Yahweh Shai HaMashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, along with those 144,000 hunters, are going to begin enslaving you heathen nations, and we're never going to let you build any weapons of war anymore. A fire devoureth before them, that nuclear warhead, and behind them a flame burneth, the rocket booster on the back of the missile, The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. The land looks normal. You've got cities, people, parks, animals, life going about as regular. And behind them, a desolate wilderness. After that nuclear missile detonates, the land looks like a desolate wasteland, like Fallout or Mad Max. Yeah, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. Before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness or ash or soot. These people getting burned up by these nuclear missiles. Hey, a lot of people around the planet, and everybody that isn't of that elect number in the United States of America, are about to get that Sarah Connor treatment. This is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith Yahweh will smite all the people that fought against Jerusalem, speaking of you heathen nations, chiefly you Edomites that came against the nation of Israel. And like I just said, a lot of people in these different countries around the planet are going to get burned up by these nuclear missiles, but a lot of people outside of the United States of America are going to survive. As for everybody in the United States of America that isn't of that elect number, hey, you're going to get burned up by these nuclear missiles. And as it says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. That's Sarah Connor treatment by nuclear fire during this third woe. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. So that's it with this video. And just a quick prophetic update for you Akim and Akwat out there to show, hey, that our day of salvation is nearer than when we believed. So now more than ever, we should have all 10 toes down, doing whatever we can to stay in the good graces of our power, Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai, so we can hope to be saved from this coming nuclear destructive judgment. So again, with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwat were edified. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.